Help! Somebody help me! She's 28 weeks pregnant, lying on a cold marble floor, bleeding, while her husband is in the next room, ignoring her cries. But when he walks out, she sees something on his phone that changes everything. A message from another woman. Stick to the plan. The timing is perfect. That night, her husband leaves her to die, and a billionaire rival saves her life. What follows is a storm of betrayal, lies, poison, revenge, and justice that will leave you questioning what real strength looks like and how far a mother will go to protect her children. Stay till the end, because this isn't just a story of survival. It's a story of rebirth, revenge, and a woman who turned her pain into power. If this story pulls you in, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories like this. Because sometimes the most broken hearts create the strongest heroes. Help, somebody help me. Becca's voice, weak, getting weaker. The marble floor felt cold against her cheek. So cold. The wine glass had slipped from her hand, red spreading across white stone. But that wasn't wine anymore. That was blood. Tyler. Her voice cracked. Tyler, something's wrong. The bathroom door stayed closed, water running. He was in the shower. He couldn't hear her. Or maybe he could. Maybe he just wasn't listening. He hadn't been listening for months. Her phone, where was her phone? The kitchen counter. 10 feet away? Might as well be 10 miles. 28 weeks pregnant. Twins. 2 heartbeats inside her that suddenly felt terrifyingly still. Rebecca Morrison was 30 years old, former marketing director, current stay-at-home mother. Wife to Tyler Morrison, corporate executive climbing the ladder at Hartley Industries. Mother to 5-year-old Emma, who was sleeping upstairs in her princess room, dreaming innocent dreams while her mother bled on the kitchen floor. The cramping had started during dinner, sharp, sudden. Tyler had poured her wine, insisted she have just 1 glass. Doctor says a little is fine, Beck. Relax. She'd felt dizzy after, sick. Then the pain came, radiating, terrifying. 3 times she reached for her phone, fingers slipping, lock, try again, lock, try again, lock. The emergency operator's voice finally crackled through the speaker. 911, what's your emergency? I'm pregnant, 28 weeks, I'm bleeding, I need help. Ma'am, I'm sending an ambulance now. Is anyone with you? My husband, he's in the shower. Can you get his attention? Becca tried to call out, her voice barely carried. Tyler! The water kept running. The operator stayed on the line, calm, professional. The ambulance is 7 minutes out. Stay with me, ma'am. What's your name? Rebecca, Becca Morrison. Becca, I need you to stay calm. Is the bleeding heavy? Yes, I think so. I'm scared. My babies. The bathroom door opened. Tyler emerged, hair wet, towel around his waist, his phone in his hand. He looked at Becca on the floor, looked at the blood, looked at his phone. It buzzed. Text message visible even from where Becca lay. Stick to the plan. The timing is perfect. Don't mess this up. Negative V. Tyler stares at his phone, at Becca, at his phone again. His hands shook. I need to take this call. It's work. Emergency. Tyler, I'm bleeding. The babies, you're overreacting. You always overreact. I'll call 911. I already called. They're coming. Tyler, please don't leave. But his voice sounded wrong. Rehearsed. Scared. Not scared for her. Scared of something else. He walked to the bedroom. His voice carried through the door. But he wasn't calling 911. He was calling her. The woman whose text Becca had just seen. Vanessa, she's bleeding. I can't do this. This is too much. Tyler, a woman's voice. Cold, sharp. Becca could hear it through the door. We discussed this. You leave now. Ambulance comes. You're at the office working late when they call you. This establishes the pattern. Your lawyer will need this. But what if nothing? Do you want the promotion or not? Do you want me or not? Then follow the plan. The bedroom door opened. Tyler, dressed now, cologne, the expensive one, the one he wore for special occasions. Not for her anymore. For 8 months, not for her. The ambulance is coming. I have to go handle this emergency meeting. The Thompson merger, millions on the line. Tyler, please, don't leave me. He paused for just a second. Something flickered in his eyes. Fear? Guilt? Regret? Then his phone buzzed again. Text visible. Now. The front door closed. His car started. Drove away. Becca lay on the floor, bleeding, alone. The emergency operator still on the line, voice distant, telling her help was coming. Stay calm, stay awake, stay alive. 5-year-old Emma's face smiled from the refrigerator photo, pink construction paper. I love mommy, written in crayon. The world tilted. Becca's vision blurred. The twins kicked weakly, still there, still fighting. She wouldn't let them die. Wouldn't let Tyler's choices kill her babies. She wouldn't. Sound, footsteps, running. Not the ambulance. Too fast, too close. Rebecca Morrison? A man's voice, not Tyler, deeper, concerned, urgent. Strong arms lifted her. Careful, so careful. I've got you, stay with me. She forced her eyes open, dark hair, sharp jawline, eyes that looked genuinely worried. She knew this face. From somewhere, business magazines? Tyler's office rants about competitors? Jack Thornton? The words barely came. Don't talk, save your strength. Where's your husband? She couldn't answer. The truth hurt worse than the cramping. The ambulance is 10 minutes out. You don't have 10 minutes. He carried her to his car. A Tesla. Black. The leather seat felt warm. He'd been in the car recently. He buckled her in like she was made of glass. My daughter, Emma, upstairs, please. I've got her. Where? First door, left, princess room. He took the stairs 2 at a time, came back 30 seconds later with a sleepy Emma wrapped in her unicorn blanket. Mommy, Emma's voice confused, scared. Mommy's okay, sweetheart. We're going on a car ride. Emma settled into the back seat, confused but quiet. Good girl. Such a good girl. Jack's hand was steady on the wheel. His other hand held Becca's. Warm, grounding, real. How did you know? Becca whispered. I didn't. I was returning documents Tyler left at my office. We had a meeting today. Saw him leave in a panic. Then I heard you calling for help through the window. Through the pain, something registered. Meeting? Tyler said he had the Thompson merger tonight. Jack's jaw tightened. There is no Thompson merger. That deal closed a month ago. Our meeting was about him potentially coming to work for me. He seemed interested. Eager even. The pieces clicked. Tyler lied. Tyler left her bleeding. Tyler chose someone named Vanessa over his wife and unborn children. Tyler chose a promotion over his family. The restaurant, Becca whispered. You said you were returning documents he left at your office? Tyler and I met at my downtown office at 5 this afternoon. He left a folder. I was bringing it to your house when I heard you screaming. Not at a restaurant with Vanessa, at a meeting with Jack Thornton. Another lie. How many lies? The Tesla moved through traffic, fast but smooth. Jack called ahead to the hospital. Emergency. Pregnant. Bleeding. 28 weeks. Twins. Move. Emma's small hand reached forward from the back seat, touched Becca's shoulder. Mommy, where's Daddy? Becca closed her eyes. Daddy had to work, baby. The biggest lie of all. Mercy General, emergency entrance. Jack carried her again. Emma clutched his jacket. I need help. She's 28 weeks pregnant with twins and bleeding. Nurses appeared. A gurney, lights overhead blurring together. Ma'am, who's your emergency contact? Her husband, Jack said. Tyler Morrison, I'll try to reach him. A nurse squeezed Becca's hand. Her name tag read Grace, 30-something, kind eyes, real concern. We've got you, honey. You're safe now. Can you tell me your pain level? 8, maybe 9. The babies. Please save my babies. Dr. Mitchell is the best. You're in good hands. Emma's small hand in Becca's, squeezing, the hospital smell, antiseptic and fear. The fluorescent lights humming. A clock on the wall, 7:43 at night. Tyler left at 7:15. 28 minutes ago, an eternity. Jack's voice in the hallway, leaving messages. Tyler, this is Jack Thornton. Your wife is at Mercy General. Emergency, call immediately. One message, two, three, four, 5, 10, 20. No response. Dr. Sarah Mitchell arrived. 50s, steady hands, kind eyes that had seen everything. Seen women abandoned. Seen families broken. Seen miracles and tragedies. Rebecca, I'm going to do an ultrasound. Let's see what these little ones are up to. The wand pressed against Becca's belly. Cold gel. The screen flickered. Static. Then sound. Thump, 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 thump. 2 heartbeats. Faint but there. Still fighting. They're fighters, Dr. Mitchell said, just like their mama. Tears slid down Becca's temples, into her hair. Relief, terror, gratitude, rage. I need to ask, Dr. Mitchell said quietly, is there any domestic situation I should know about? Any reason you were alone during this emergency? Becca's throat closed. The truth sat there. Heavy, impossible. He had a work emergency. Dr. Mitchell's expression said she'd heard that before. Didn't believe it. Wouldn't push. Not yet. We're going to admit you. Strict bed rest. These babies need to stay put for at least 8 more weeks. Ideally, 12. 8 weeks. 12 weeks. Could she do this alone? I'm not crazy, Becca whispered. I know what this means. I know what he chose. Grace squeezed her hand. You're not crazy, honey. You're not crazy at all. They moved her to a private room. Too quiet except for the machines. Steady beeping. The twins' heartbeats monitoring constantly. Proof of life. Proof of miracles. Proof that some things mattered more than ambition. Jack appeared in the doorway, Emma asleep on his shoulder, her unicorn blanket trailing. The nurses found a care. Emma can sleep here with you. He set Emma down so gently, covered her, adjusted her pillow, moved like a man who understood children, who cared. You don't have to stay, Becca said. I know. But he pulled a chair to her bedside, sat, settled in like he had nowhere else to be. Your husband. 42 calls, no answer. 42. The number carved itself into her chest. 42 times Jack Thornton tried to tell Tyler Morrison his wife was dying. 42 times Tyler chose not to answer. He's probably in the meeting still. The merger you said doesn't exist. Jack's jaw tightened. Becca, I need to tell you something. And you're not going to like it. He turned his phone. A social media post. Tyler, a woman, blonde, beautiful, predatory smile. Some trendy rooftop bar, her hand on his chest, his arm around her waist. Posted 18 minutes ago. The caption, finally free to love you openly. She'll understand eventually. Negative vibe. But something was wrong with the photo. Tyler looked uncomfortable. Stiff, like he was posing against his will, like a puppet on strings. Becca stared at the photo, closed her eyes, opened them, closed, opened, closed. Like if she blinked enough times, it would change. It didn't change. Who is she? Vanessa Hartley, Richard Hartley's daughter. She works at Hartley Industries. Started 8 months ago. 8 months, Becca whispered. That's when Tyler changed. Jack pulled up more information on his phone. Articles, LinkedIn profiles, corporate photos. Vanessa graduated top of her class from Wharton Business School, worked at 3 Fortune 500 companies. Each time she had an affair with a married executive. Each time the executive left his wife. Each time, within 6 months, the executive was fired and Vanessa moved to a bigger company. The room spun. She's done this before? 3 times. I have a private investigator on retainer. When Tyler mentioned he was seeing someone at Hartley Industries during our meeting today, I looked into it. Becca, I think she targets married men deliberately, ambitious ones, weak ones. What? Power, control, practice. Her father, Richard, is a self-made billionaire. Ruthless. There are rumors she's positioning to take over the company. But Richard is old school. He doesn't think women can run empires. So she's proving she can. By destroying men. By showing she's more ruthless than any of them. Becca's stomach turned. Tyler's not a victim. He made choices. Yes, but I don't think he understands who he's dealing with. Look at this. Jack showed her another photo. Vanessa and Tyler. Vanessa's hand on his phone. Tyler looking confused, controlled. That's from tonight, 30 minutes before he left you. I think she's controlling when he can and can't respond to calls. I think tonight was a test to see if he'd really abandon you. And he did. He did, which means he passed her test. And Vanessa Hartley rewards compliance. The door opened. An older man, 60-something, silver hair, tired eyes. He looked like he'd aged 10 years in one night. Rebecca, his voice cracked. I came as soon as I heard. Robert Morrison, Tyler's father. Jack stood, protective. Mr. Morrison. Mr. Thornton, thank you for helping my daughter-in-law. Robert turned to Becca. Where's my son? I don't know. He left. He chose to leave. Robert sank into his chair, put his face in his hands, shoulders shaking, a man breaking. I was afraid of this. Afraid of what? Tyler's been different these past months. Secretive, anxious. He came to me 3 weeks ago, asked me about divorce lawyers, said he was in love with someone else, someone who could help his career. And you didn't warn me? I told him he was making a mistake. I told him marriage is work, that grass isn't greener. But he wouldn't listen. He said this woman, Vanessa, she understood him. She saw his potential. She made him feel important. Robert looked up. His eyes were wet, raw, honest. His mother left us when Tyler was 10, ran off with her boss. Tyler watched me fall apart, watched me beg her to come back. She told Tyler that I was weak, that weak men don't deserve success. Tyler spent his whole life trying to prove he's not weak, trying to prove he's not me. And now he's becoming exactly what he feared, Becca said quietly. A man who abandons his family. Yes, Robert reached for Becca's hand. I don't have excuses for him. What he did tonight, it is unforgivable. But I want you to know something. I'm on your side, not his. You're my daughter. Emma is my granddaughter. Those babies are my grandsons, and I will help you in any way I can. Why, yo? Because you deserve better. Because those children deserve better. And because maybe I can't save my son from himself, but I can make sure he doesn't destroy you in the process. Jack's phone buzzed. He glanced at it. His expression darkened. Tyler just posted on social media an announcement. He turned the phone. Tyler and Vanessa, professional photo, clearly staged, engagement photo to quality. Excited to announce my engagement to Vanessa Hartley, daughter of Richard Hartley, CEO of Hartley Industries. Looking forward to our future together in my new role as Vice President of Operations. Posted 22 minutes ago. While Becca was fighting to save their babies, while Jack was calling 42 times, while Robert was rushing to the hospital, Tyler was announcing his engagement, still married, still father to Emma, still father to 2 unborn sons. Robert stared at the post. He's engaged? He's still married. Not for long, a woman's voice said from the doorway. 2 women, one in a sharp suit, sharp eyes, sharper smile. The other wore a detective's badge. Attorney Linda Brennan, the first woman introduced herself, and this is Detective Karen Walsh. We need to ask you some questions about tonight, because what happened to you might not have been an accident. The room settled after introductions. Emma sleeping, Robert sitting with his head bowed, Grace dimming the lights, Jack making quiet phone calls in the hallway. Becca lay in the dark, her hand on her belly, the detective's words echoing. Mrs. Morrison, did your husband give you anything to drink tonight? Any food? Anything unusual? The wine. Tyler had poured her wine at dinner, insisted she have just 1 glass. Doctor says a little is fine, Beck. Relax. She'd felt dizzy after. Sick. Then the cramping started. Detective Walsh pulled out evidence bags, bagged the wine glass from the kitchen, the remaining bottle, labeled them, sealed them. If someone wanted to induce premature labor, Detective Walsh said carefully, there are substances that could do that. We need to rule that out. Becca closed her eyes, saw Tyler that morning, kissing her forehead before work. Love you, Beck. Had he known? Had he planned this? Or was he just a puppet, dancing on Vanessa's strings? Either way, her babies had almost died tonight, and someone was going to pay. Sunlight, too bright. Becca woke to Dr. Mitchell checking her vitals. Good morning, Mama. Babies look stable, but we need to talk. Detective Walsh stood in the corner, serious expression, grim mouth. The wine, Dr. Mitchell said, it contained pennyroyal oil, a natural abortifacient. In small doses, it can cause cramping and bleeding. In larger doses, it can induce labor or cause miscarriage. The room spun. Someone tried to kill my babies? We can't prove intent yet, Detective Walsh said. Could be contaminated, could be accidental, but combined with your husband's abandonment, we're investigating. Tyler's phone records show 3 calls to poison control in the past week, the detective interrupted, asking about substances that could help with a difficult pregnancy. He claimed he was researching for a friend. Robert, who'd stayed all night, went pale. My son did this? We don't know yet, but Mr. Morrison purchased pennyroyal oil from an herbal shop 4 days ago. Security footage confirms it. We're trying to determine if he knew what it was for. Becca's phone buzzed. Text from Tyler. First contact in 14 hours. Tyler. Beck, we need to talk. This has gotten out of hand. I never meant to hurt you. Tyler. Vanessa says we can work something out. Shared custody. You keep the house. I'll support the kids. Just don't fight the divorce. Tyler. Please, she's very determined. It's easier if you don't resist. She's very determined. Not I'm. Not we're. She's. Becca's fingers moved across the keyboard. Steady, strong, certain. Becca. Tell Vanessa she's miscalculated. Tell her the wine has been tested. Tell her the police are involved, and tell her I'm coming for everything. She blocked his number. Her hands didn't shake. Not anymore. Detective Walsh smiled. That should shake things up. Attorney Linda Brennan spread documents across Becca's hospital tray table. Jack and Robert flanked her bed like bodyguards. Grace stood at the door. An army, a family, chosen and blood. Here's what we know, Linda said. Vanessa Hartley has done this 3 times before. Each time the pattern is identical. Seduce married executive. Isolate him from family. Get him to abandon wife during a crisis. Document the abandonment. Use it to destroy him professionally while positioning herself as the victim of a predatory married man. She's a black widow, Jack said. Corporate black widow. Exactly, but this time she's made mistakes. 3 mistakes. Linda held up one finger. 1, she poisoned you. That's attempted murder. Hard to prove, but Tyler bought the substance. He gave you the wine. Whether he knew what it was for or not, he's an accomplice. 2nd finger. 2, she posted evidence of the affair while you were hospitalized. Public record, time-stamped, proves abandonment and cruelty. 3rd finger. 3, she underestimated you. The other wives rolled over, took settlements, disappeared. But you're fighting back, and you have resources. She gestured to Jack. What's her endgame? Becca asked. Power. She wants to force her father to make her CEO each time she destroys a man her father trusted. She proves women can be just as ruthless as men. She's trying to earn respect through fear. She's a psychopath, Robert said quietly. Clinically, possibly. Legally, definitely dangerous. Linda leaned forward. Becca, we can destroy Tyler, take everything, but I think we should aim higher. Higher? Vanessa, she's the architect. Tyler's just the tool. If we can prove she's done this before, establish a pattern, we can file criminal charges. Conspiracy, attempted murder, fraud, we can end her. Jack's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, smiled coldly. My investigator just sent this. Vanessa's first victim. Married executive from 8 years ago. She destroyed his life. Cost him his marriage, his job, his reputation. He's been waiting for a chance to take her down. He's willing to talk, to testify. Becca signed document after document, her signature getting firmer, stronger. By the 10th signature, her hand didn't shake at all. This wasn't just about her anymore. This was about stopping a predator. This was about protecting the next wife, the next family, the next set of unborn children who deserve better than Vanessa Hartley's ambition. Tyler arrived at noon, without Vanessa. Grace intercepted him at the door. Sir, the patient has requested no visitors. I need to see my wife. Not for long, Linda said, stepping into the hallway. Tyler Morrison, you've been served. This divorce petition includes emergency custody, asset freeze, criminal complaint as accessory to attempted murder, and restraining order. You have 24 hours to vacate the marital residence. Tyler's face went white. Murder? I didn't try to murder anyone. You gave your pregnant wife pennyroyal oil. That substance can cause miscarriage. I didn't know. Vanessa said it was a supplement. She said it would help with swelling. The hallway went silent. Say that again, Detective Walsh said, stepping out of the shadows. She'd been waiting, watching, recording. Tyler's eyes went wide. I want a lawyer. Smart, because Vanessa Hartley is about to throw you under the bus. We've been watching her. She's already meeting with her attorney, already crafting her defense. Want to know what it is? Tyler said nothing, but his face answered. Terror, recognition, understanding dawning. Abusive husband coerced innocent girlfriend into helping him get rid of his pregnant wife. She's claiming you manipulated her, told her Becca was suicidal, that the pennyroyal was to help prevent pregnancy complications, that she's a victim. That's insane. She planned everything. She told me exactly what to do, when to leave, what to say. She wrote the social media posts. Do you have proof? Tyler pulled out his phone, shaking, fumbling, desperate. I recorded some of our conversations. I was scared. She kept pushing me to do things that felt wrong. I recorded them in case I needed them later. Detective Walsh took the phone, scrolled through voice memos. Her expression changed, hardened, sharpened. Mr. Morrison, I think you and I need to have a very long conversation with your attorney present, but off the record, you just saved yourself from a murder conspiracy charge. Barely. Tyler looked at Becca through the doorway. Emma woke up, saw her father, turned away, buried her face in her mother's side. I'm sorry, Tyler whispered. I'm so sorry. I was weak. I was stupid. She made me feel important, and I lost everything that actually mattered. After Tyler left with the detective, Becca sat with Emma. They colored. Pink and purple unicorns. Emma didn't ask about her father, just colored. Quiet, processing in the way children do. Absorbing, understanding more than adults gave her credit for. The twins kicked, strong. Becca placed Emma's hand on her belly. That's your brothers? They're okay. We're all going to be okay. Is Daddy a bad man? How did you answer that? How did you explain narcissistic abuse to a 5-year-old? How did you teach nuance and complexity in the gray areas of human weakness? Daddy made very bad choices, but he's not all bad. He's just lost. And sometimes adults get lost, baby. Will you get lost, Mommy? No, sweetheart. I know exactly where I am. Right here with you. Robert appeared in the doorway. I'm going to post bail for Tyler, not because he deserves it, but because I want him in a position to testify against Vanessa. Is that okay with you? Becca thought about it, thought about justice, about revenge, about the difference between the two, about what her children needed to see, about what kind of woman she wanted to be. Yes, but he doesn't come near us, ever. Agreed. Days blurred, the story broke. Executive's wife poisoned in corporate Black Widow scheme. Media everywhere. Reporters outside the hospital. Camera crews. Social media exploded. Twitter trending. Reddit threads. Think pieces. Vanessa released a statement. I am shocked and devastated to learn of these allegations. Tyler Morrison pursued me relentlessly. I believed his marriage was over. I never would have knowingly participated in anything that could harm an innocent woman or her children. I am cooperating fully with authorities. Perfect victim act. Practiced, polished, performing. But Tyler's recordings were damning. Detective Walsh leaked them strategically. Public pressure, media trial before legal trial. Vanessa's voice, cold and calculating. You need to leave her vulnerable, alone or at the reared. That's when she'll sign the divorce settlement. That's when she'll take whatever she can get and disappear. The pennyroyal will cause cramping, mild labor symptoms, nothing permanent. but scary enough. And when you're not there to help her, that establishes your cruelty. Her lawyer will use that. Think of it as performance art, Tyler. You're playing a role, the cruel husband. I'm playing the innocent mistress, and Rebecca is playing the victim. Everyone has their part. Public opinion shifted, fast, brutal. Vanessa Hartley wasn't a mistress. She was a monster, a predator, a psychopath in designer suits. Richard Hartley released a statement. My daughter is suspended pending investigation. These allegations do not reflect Hartley Industries' values. Translation, he was cutting her loose, protecting the company, abandoning his daughter the way she'd taught men to abandon their families. Karma had a sense of humor. Middle of the night, week 2, 29 weeks pregnant. Ned, one more week milestone. Just one more, Lana. Becca couldn't sleep. The fear crowded in. Dark thoughts. What ifs. The kind of thoughts that came at 3 in the morning when monitors beeped and hospitals felt like prisons, and the future stretched vast and terrifying. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text. You should have taken the divorce settlement. Now you've embarrassed me. Made me look weak. I don't tolerate that. Text. You think you've won? You haven't. Tyler's recordings won't be admissible. Illegal wiretapping. My father's lawyers are the best. Text. I will destroy you, your children, your billionaire hero, everyone. You have 24 hours to drop all charges and take the settlement. Or I start releasing information about Jack Thornton's business dealings. Insider trading, tax fraud, I have proof, fake proof. But by the time anyone figures that out, his company will be ruined. Text. Your choice, Rebecca. Your pride or his life's work. Becca's hands shook. She forwarded the text to Detective Walsh. Called her. She's threatening Jack now. She says she'll fabricate evidence. She's desperate. Desperate people make mistakes. Forward me the text. We'll use them. This is witness tampering. Extortion. She just gave us more charges. But what if she does it? What if she destroys Jack because of me? Jack's voice from the doorway. Then we rebuild. I've been destroyed before. I survived. Will survive. He'd been sleeping in the chair again, still keeping watch, still showing up. You can't lose everything because of me. I won't lose everything. The things that matter, they're right here. You, Emma, those babies, your family, that's everything. Business? That's just money. I'll make more. The hardest part, Becca whispered, is that I thought I was the only victim. But Tyler was a victim, too. Vanessa manipulated both of us. And I still have to hate him for his choices while understanding he was manipulated. How do I hold both truths? Jack sat on the edge of her bed. You hold them by being human. Tyler made choices, bad ones. But Vanessa created the circumstances where those choices felt inevitable. You can acknowledge that without excusing him. He's responsible. But he's not the only villain. I'm scared. Me too. Morning brought Detective Walsh in a plan. Vanessa's threatening witness tampering, extortion, and harassment with those texts. But we need more. We need her to incriminate herself on record. How? Tyler wears a wire, goes to see her, tells her he's scared about the case, gets her to admit to the poisoning, to the plan, to everything. Will he do it? He's looking at 20 years as an accessory to attempted murder. He'll do it. Robert added, I've convinced him this is his only way to make things right. Not for him, for Emma, for the boys. So they don't grow up with a father in prison, so they have some chance of understanding that he tried to fix what he broke. The plan was risky, but necessary. Tyler met Vanessa that afternoon at her condo. Downtown, high-rise, floor-to-ceiling windows, view of the city she wanted to conquer. Detectives listening in a van below. Recording everything, building a case. Weaving a net, the conversation started casual, nervous. Tyler played his part well. Fear wasn't hard to fake when it was real. Vanessa, they have recordings, my recordings. What do we do? We, her voice went cold, ice. There is no we, Tyler. You're on your own. But you told me to record them. You said we might need them for leverage against Becca. I never told you to record anything. And if you claim I did, My lawyers will bury you. Do you understand? You're a weak, pathetic man who poisoned his wife because you wanted her money and her out of the way. I'm the victim who believed your lies. That's the story. That's what the jury will hear. But that's not true. Truth doesn't matter. Power matters. And I have it. You don't. You never did. You were just a tool, a means to an end. Vanessa, please. I love you. She laughed, actually laughed. Sharp, cutting, cruel. Love? You think this was about love? Tyler, you were a test run, a practice dummy. I needed to perfect my system before the real target. My father's VP of operations, Marcus Webb, married, ambitious, weak, just like you. Once I destroy you publicly, he'll see what happens to men who cross me. He'll do anything I say, and eventually he'll help me take over Hartley Industries. You were never the goal. You were the lesson. So I meant nothing? You meant exactly what you were supposed to mean. A lesson. For me. For the business world. For every man who thinks women can't be ruthless. I'm proving we can. We just have to be smarter, more calculated, more willing to break things to win. Tyler's voice broke. Real emotion. Real horror. You tried to kill my babies. No, I tried to motivate your wife to accept a divorce settlement quickly. If the pregnancy ended, collateral damage. Welcome to business, Tyler. Sometimes you have to break things to win. Sometimes people get hurt. That's not cruelty. That's strategy. Silence, then Tyler's voice. Steady now, angry. Done. You made a mistake, Vanessa. What's that? You told me to record conversations for leverage, so I did, including this one. The apartment door burst open. Detective Walsh. Officers. Vanessa's face went white, then red, then purple with rage. Vanessa Hartley, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, attempted murder, extortion, witness tampering, and about 6 other charges I'm going to enjoy reading to you. You have the right to remain silent. I suggest you use it. Becca watched the arrest on the news, live footage, breaking news banners, Vanessa in handcuffs, screaming about her lawyers, about lawsuits, about how they couldn't do this to her, about her rights, about her father, about her power, but they could, and they did. Emma climbed into Becca's lap. Mommy, who's that angry lady? Someone who hurt a lot of people, baby, but she can't hurt anyone anymore. The twins kicked, celebrating maybe, or just stretching. Either way, they were alive, safe, growing, fighting. Robert sat across from them. Tyler's cooperating fully. The DA offered him a deal. 5 years in prison, out in 3 with good behavior. He signed it. He's testifying against Vanessa. He's doing everything they ask. Good. He asked if he could write to the children, when they're older, to explain, to apologize. We'll see. Maybe, someday. Maybe forgiveness was possible. Eventually, after the anger burned out, after the healing finished, after the children were old enough to understand complexity and weakness in the gray areas of human failure. But not today. Today was for surviving, for healing, for protecting what mattered. 4 weeks in hospital, 32 weeks pregnant. The twins were strong, stubborn. Like their mother, Dr. Mitchell said, with a smile that suggested she'd seen this strength before. Recognized it. Respected it. Vanessa's trial was set for 8 months out. Her lawyers were legendary, expensive, ruthless. The kind of lawyers who defended corporations and celebrities and people who could afford to buy innocence. But the evidence was overwhelming. Tyler's recordings, text messages threatening Jack, financial records showing Vanessa had done this before. 3 previous victims willing to testify. A pattern, a system, a predator with a process. The media called her the corporate Black Widow, the career killer, the Ice Queen. Think pieces appeared everywhere. How one woman exposed the toxicity of corporate ambition. The price of power, Vanessa Hartley's reign of terror. When ambition becomes psychopathy, Richard Hartley disowned her publicly. I have no daughter. The woman accused of these crimes is not the person I raised. I will cooperate fully with authorities. But everyone knew Richard Hartley had raised exactly this person, had taught her that power mattered more than people, that winning justified any cost, that ruthlessness was a virtue. He'd created a monster and then acted shocked when she became one. Linda updated Becca daily, professional, thorough, invested. The civil suit is progressing. We're suing Vanessa for emotional distress, attempted murder, conspiracy. We're looking at 7 figures in the divorce settlement, maybe 8. I don't want her money. Take it anyway. Put it in trust for the kids. Make her pay literally and figuratively. Let Emma and the boys go to college on her dime. Let them build lives she tried to destroy. That's justice. Jack's visits continued, but the dynamic shifted. Less guardian angel, more friend, real friend. They talked, really talked, about life, business, dreams, failures, the things people share when they're her building something real. I almost lost everything, Jack admitted one afternoon, when Vanessa threatened to fabricate evidence. For 48 hours, I thought my company was done, that everything I'd built would collapse. And you know what I realized? What? I didn't care, not really. The business is important, but it's not everything. People are everything. You, Emma, those babies, the people who showed up when things got hard. That's what matters. That's what I'd fight for. That's what I'd rebuild for. Court-appointed custody evaluator. Dr. Patricia Reynolds, stern, thorough, no nonsense. The kind of evaluator who'd seen every manipulation tactic and couldn't be fooled. Tyler had petitioned for partial custody from county jail. Limited, supervised, but custody. His lawyer's advice. Show the judge you care. Show remorse. Show you're trying. I don't want him near them, Becca said. I understand, but the court requires evaluation. We'll document everything. His actions will speak louder than his words. Tyler's interview was conducted via video call from county jail. He looked different, thinner, broken, sober in every sense. The cologne gone, the ambition gone. Just a man facing consequences. I don't deserve custody, he said on record. I don't deserve their forgiveness. But I want them to know that I love them, that I was weak, that Vanessa didn't make me do anything I didn't choose to do. I own that. I own all of it. Do you want visitation? I want them to be happy. If that means I never see them again, then that's what I want. But if someday, when they're older, they have questions, I want to be able to answer them, to tell them I'm sorry, to tell them I wish I'd been stronger, to tell them their father was flawed but not beyond redemption. Dr. Reynolds' report was unequivocal. No custody, no visitation until children are old enough to choose. Mr. Morrison's remorse appears genuine, but his actions cause severe trauma. Children's welfare takes precedence. The court should prioritize their healing over his redemption timeline. Becca cried, relief, vindication, safety. He'll appeal, Linda warned. From prison? With what money? Fair point. Roberts cut him off financially. Tyler's on his own now, learning what it means to face consequences without a safety net. Tyler was sentenced before the babies were born. 5 years, county prison, nonviolent offender wing, a place for white-collar criminals and men who'd made terrible choices but weren't dangerous in the traditional sense. Becca didn't attend, watched the news coverage from her hospital bed. 35 weeks now. Safe zone. The babies would survive if they came now. Tyler's statement, I am guilty, I am sorry, I failed my family, I failed myself. The only thing I can do now is accept responsibility and hope that someday my children will understand that their father was weak but not evil, manipulated but still culpable. I love them, I just didn't love them enough. I chose ambition over family, myself over others, and I will spend the rest of my life trying to understand why heck. The judge, Mr. Morrison, you participated in a conspiracy to harm your pregnant wife and unborn children. That you were manipulated by Mrs. Hartley is a mitigating factor. But you made choices, every step of the way. You chose to believe her lies because they served your ambition. You chose to leave your bleeding wife because a text message told you to. You chose promotion over family. The court sentences you to 5 years imprisonment, I hope you use that time to become the man your children deserve. Vanessa's trial was still pending, but her fate was sealed. The prosecution had too much evidence, too many victims, too clear a pattern. Her lawyers were pushing for a plea deal. 15 years. She was refusing. Too proud, too arrogant, too convinced she could win, that her intelligence and her beauty and her father's money could buy anything. She'll go to trial, Linda predicted. She's too arrogant to admit defeat. She thinks she can charm a jury. She thinks she can play victim well enough. She can't. She's underestimating how much people hate women who hurt pregnant mothers. The courtyard, peaceful, fall leaves drifting, October becoming November, the air cool, clean, the smell of changing seasons and new beginnings. Emma was adjusting, therapy twice a week, art therapy, play therapy, but her Williams said she was resilient, that children could survive anything if they had one stable parent, one person who showed up consistently, one safe harbor. You're her stable ground, Dr. Williams said. That's everything. That's more than most children get. Robert visited daily, bringing books for Emma, flowers for Becca, sitting quietly, grieving his son, supporting his family, trying to be the man he'd failed to be for Tyler, trying to break cycles. I failed Tyler, he said one afternoon. No, Tyler failed himself. I should have been stronger. After his mother left, I should have shown him that vulnerability isn't weakness, that asking for help isn't failure. That being good man matters more than being a successful one. He's an adult. His choices are his own. I know, but I still wish I'd done better. I still wonder if things would be different if I'd taught him different lessons. Jack appeared. Coffee for everyone. He and Robert had become friends, united in protection of Becca and the children. Two men trying to be better than the men who'd hurt the women they cared about. Any word on Vanessa? Robert asked. She rejected the plea deal, Jack said. 15 years wasn't enough humiliation, apparently. She's going to trial. Her lawyers are arguing temporary insanity, that the pressure of being Richard Hartley's daughter broke her, that she couldn't handle the expectations, that she snapped. Will it work? No, she's too calculated, too documented. Too many victims over too many years. She'll get 25 to life, maybe 30. Week 7 in hospital, 35 weeks pregnant. Mitchell gave the good news they'd been waiting for. You're safe. If the babies come now, they'll be fine. Healthy, no NICU necessary. You did it, Becca. You kept them safe. Permission to breathe, to believe, to hope. After 7 weeks of monitoring and fear and uncertainty, permission to imagine a future. Can I go home? Modified bed rest. No stairs, no heavy lifting. But yes, you can go home. Home, the word felt different now, safer, earned, a place she'd fought for, a sanctuary she'd protected. Jack offered to help with the transition, not charity anymore. Friendship, real friendship built on crisis and honesty and showing up. They pulled up to the house. Emma cheered. Our house! We're home! Jack carried Becca's bags, set up the bedroom for bed rest, organized the kitchen, stocked the fridge with groceries and meals and everything they'd need. Robert had already been by. Fixed the window Jack broke to get inside that first night, painted Emma's room fresh, installed new security, changed the locks, made the house theirs again. You don't have to do all this, Becca said. Jack stopped, turned, honest again. Always honest. It was becoming his defining trait. I know, but somewhere along the way, this stopped being about Tyler, stopped being about Vanessa, stopped being about business revenge, started being about you, about Emma, about these babies, about helping because I want to help, because you matter, as a person, as a friend, maybe more than a friend, if I'm being completely honest. Jack, I'm not asking for anything. You're pregnant, getting divorced, healing, dealing with enough. I'm just being honest about where I am. When this is over, when you're ready, if you're ever ready, I'd like to take you to dinner. A real date, no hospital cafeterias, no crisis management, just two people getting to know each other without emergencies. Becca's heart stuttered. Months ago, the idea of trusting another man would have seemed impossible, but Jack had earned trust, slowly, consistently, by showing up, by being honest, by caring about her children, by not asking for anything in return. I don't know if I can trust anyone right now, if I'm ready for that. I know, I'll wait. I'm good at waiting. I've waited for a lot of things in my life. Good things are worth waiting for. November 18th, 37 weeks, regular contractions, not Braxton Hicks. The real thing, Dr. Mitchell's office. This is it. You're in labor. Let's get you to the hospital. Let's meet these fighters. Grace drove. Jack met them there. Held Becca's hand through contractions. Coached breathing. Counted. Reminded her she was strong enough for this. Robert waited in the hall. Supporting. Present. Ready to meet his grandsons. Labor was fast. Intense. 3 hours of work that felt like minutes and hours simultaneously. Then pushing. Then crying. Then two perfect baby boys, Andrew James, 7 pounds, 2 ounces, named after Robert's father. A good man, a kind man, Benjamin Jack, 6 pounds, 14 ounces, named after the man who saved them, the man who showed up, named after heroes, named after hope, named after the kind of men she wanted them to become. Tyler wasn't there, couldn't be, was in prison, his choice, his consequence. But the people who mattered were there. Grace, Diane, Robert, Jack. The family built from choice and crisis and care. Emma met her brothers, held Andrew carefully, kissed Benjamin's forehead with the gentleness only children possess. They're so small. You were this small once. Really? I don't remember being small. None of us remember being small, but we all were. We all started tiny and grew strong. Jack stood back, giving space, but present, always present. A man who understood boundaries and respect, and when to step forward and when to step back. Becca looked at her family, chosen and born, perfect in their imperfection, complete in their incompleteness. Thank you, she told Jack. For what? Showing up every time, without fail, without asking for anything. Just showing up. That's what people do. When they care, when they see someone who needs help and they have the ability to give it. That's just being human. Is that what this is? Just being human? Jack smiled, soft, real. For now, unless you want it to be more. Someday, when you're ready, if you're ever ready. And ask me again in 6 months. Deal. 6 months later, spring, May, the twins were 6 months old, fat, happy, perfect. Meeting milestones, smiling, laughing, knowing nothing of the darkness that preceded their birth. Emma was finishing kindergarten, honor roll, art award, making friends, thriving in therapy, learning that families came in different shapes, that fathers weren't necessary for happiness, that mothers could be enough. Vanessa's trial lasted 3 weeks. The media covered every moment. Courtroom sketches, expert commentary, public opinion overwhelmingly against her. Becca testified, told her story, the bleeding, the abandonment, the fear, the detective's revelation about the penny royal, the nights wondering if her babies would survive. Tyler testified via video from prison, told his story, the manipulation, the recordings, the realization that he'd been a tool, an admission of guilt without deflection, an acknowledgement that being manipulated didn't absolve choice. 3 previous victims testified, similar stories, different details, same pattern, same predator, same destruction. The evidence was damning. The recordings where Vanessa discussed strategy, the texts where she directed Tyler's actions, the financial records showing she'd researched divorce law and custody battles, the pattern across multiple victims over multiple years. Vanessa's defense crumbled. Her lawyers argued coercion by her father, mental illness from pressure, temporary insanity from stress. Every excuse, every deflection, every attempt to paint her as victim rather than villain. The jury didn't buy it, deliberated 4 hours, came back with a verdict. Guilty, all counts. Conspiracy to commit murder, attempted murder, extortion, witness tampering, fraud. A list of charges that would keep her imprisoned for decades. Sentencing, 30 years in federal prison, no parole for 20. Vanessa's face when the verdict was read. Shock, disbelief, rage breaking through practiced composure. "You're all idiots," she screamed as bailiffs approached. "I'm smarter than all of you. You just can't handle a woman who plays by men's rules. This is sexism. This is discrimination. I'm being punished for being ambitious." The judge's voice cut through her tantrum. Cold, final, done. "Ms. Hartley, this has nothing to do with your gender. This has to do with your actions. You attempted to murder an unborn child. You manipulated and coerced multiple people. You destroyed lives for personal gain. You showed no remorse, no empathy, no humanity. You are dangerous. You are calculating. You are exactly the kind of person our justice system exists to contain. The court sentences you to 30 years in federal prison. Take her away." Becca watched from the gallery, felt nothing. No triumph, no vindication, just relief, just closure, just the knowledge that it was over, that Vanessa couldn't hurt anyone else, that other wives and other children were safe. It was over. The civil suit settled. $8 million. Vanessa's trust fund, the money her father had set aside for her future, liquidated, paid out, put in trust for Emma, Andrew, and Benjamin. "Blood money," Becca said. "College money," Linda corrected. "Future money, security money. Let her pay for their education. Let her fund their dreams. Let the money she would have used to destroy them build them up instead. That's the best revenge. Not hurting her, but thriving anyway." 1 year after the arrest, November again, full circle. The twins' first birthday party. The backyard was full of friends, Grace and Diane, Jack's sisters and their families. Linda Brennan, who'd become more than a lawyer. Detective Walsh, who'd become an ally. Robert, who'd become the grandfather the children deserved. Tyler sent a card from prison. For the boys. Simple. Honest. No excuses. "Happy birthday, Andrew and Benjamin. I love you. I'm sorry. Maybe someday you'll understand that I was weak but trying to be better. Maybe someday we'll meet and you'll see that your father learned from his mistakes. Until then, be good for your mother. She's extraordinary. Love, Dad." And I'll help the twins smash their birthday cakes. Blue and yellow, messy, perfect, frosting everywhere, laughter, joy, the sounds of children who felt safe. Jack's arm around Becca's waist. They'd been dating seriously for 4 months, taking it slow, no pressure, no rush, just steady, real, building something that felt different from what came before, built on friendship instead of passion, on respect instead of need, on choice instead of circumstance. Robert pulled Becca aside. "I have something for you." He handed her an envelope, thick, legal documents, official seals. Tyler signed over all parental rights, voluntary termination. He thinks it's best for them, for you, so they can be adopted someday by someone worthy, someone who will be there, someone who will show up. Becca's throat tightened. He didn't have to do that. He wanted to. He said it's the only gift he can give them, freedom from him, freedom to have a real father someday, someone who will be there for school plays and baseball games and all the moments he'll miss. He said he doesn't want them waiting for a father who failed them. He wants them free to be loved by someone better. Later, as the party wound down, as Emma put the twins down for their nap, as Robert cleaned up the backyard, Becca stood in her kitchen, breathing, free. Her phone buzzed. Email. Subject. Job offer. She opened it. Marketing director. Tech startup. Growing company. Competitive salary. Full remote. Healthcare. Benefits. Flexibility for single mothers with 3 young children. They'd found her portfolio online. Her freelance work during bed rest and recovery. The projects she'd taken to prove to herself she was still valuable. Still skilled. Still worthy. They wanted her. Not Tyler's wife. Not anyone's appendage, her, for her skills, for her talent, for what she could contribute. She looked up, Jack watching from the window, Emma singing to the twins inside their room, Grace helping Diane with dishes, Robert playing with building blocks, saving them for when the babies woke. Family, chosen, real, built from crisis and kindness and people who showed up. Tyler was somewhere out there, in prison, learning lessons that should have been taught decades ago, paying prices that should never have accumulated, living with consequences that felt simultaneously too harsh and too lenient. Vanessa was in federal prison. Orange jumpsuit instead of designer suits, controlled instead of controlling, contained instead of conquering. 30 years to think about the lives she'd destroyed, to wonder if power was worth the price. Richard Hartley was dead. Heart attack. 6 months after his daughter's conviction. Stress, shame, the weight of knowing he'd created a monster. His company went to Marcus Webb, the man Vanessa had targeted next, the man Jack had warned, the man who was happily married to his original wife, who'd been shown what predators look like, who'd chosen family over ambition. This was her story now, not Tyler's, not Vanessa's, hers. She'd started on a floor, bleeding, alone, abandoned, 28 weeks pregnant, terrified, broken. She'd ended here, standing, strong, surrounded, chosen. 37 weeks, mother of three, employed, independent, free, not revenge, transcendence, not bitterness, transformation, not victim, survivor, thriver, better, so much better. 2 years later, spring again. Emma was 8, second grade, still in therapy but thriving, still processing but healing, still asking questions but accepting answers, learning that families came in shapes that textbooks didn't show, that love looked different than fairy tales promised, that strength came from unlikely places. The twins were too, running, talking, terrorizing the house with toddler energy and pure joy. Identical in looks, but different in temperament. Andrew was cautious, thoughtful, observant. Benjamin was bold, adventurous, fearless, both perfect, both miracles, both living proof that darkness doesn't win, that life finds a way, that love persists. Becca was thriving, marketing director for 2 years, respected, valued, promoted twice, building a team, mentoring young women, teaching them about financial independence and boundaries and the importance of keeping their own money and their own power and their own identities, teaching them what she'd learned too late, what she'd had to relearn the hard way, what she'd pass on to Emma and eventually to her sons. That women supporting women wasn't just a hashtag, that narcissistic abuse wasn't always obvious, that financial independence wasn't selfish, that midlife transformation was possible, that divorce settlements could be justice, that starting over wasn't failure. Robert was still present, still showing up, still trying to be better than he'd been, still learning from his mistakes, still proving that some men could change, could grow, could be better. Grace and Diane were family, chosen aunts and grandmother, present for birthdays and holidays and random Tuesdays when someone needed help. The kind of family that showed up, that stayed, that cared. Jack had been in their lives for 2 years, steady, consistent, present. They dated for 6 months before he met the children formally. Then 6 more months of casual integration. No pressure, no rushing, just slowly becoming part of their lives, part of their family, part of their normal. And now this, spring afternoon, the backyard, Emma playing with the twins, Robert reading on the patio, Grace and Diane visiting for Sunday dinner. Jack pulled Becca aside. I want to talk to you about something. Okay. I've been thinking about us, about the kids, about the future. And I want to marry you, but more than that, I want to adopt Emma and Andrew and Benjamin. I want to be their father legally. Not just the man who shows up, but their actual father, their legal guardian, their parent. Becca's throat closed. Jack, I know it's fast. I know it's big. I know the kids are young, and Emma especially might have complicated feelings, and we need to do this right. But I love you. I love them. I want to be their father. Not Tyler's replacement, not a substitute, but their actual father. The man who shows up for school plays and scraped knees and teenage drama and college applications and everything in between. Why? Because they deserve a father who chooses them, who stays, who shows up. And I want to be that man. I want to be the father they deserve, the father Tyler couldn't be. Not because I'm better than him fundamentally, but because I'm choosing them. Every day, consistently. That's what matters. Choice, consistency, showing up. What about Tyler? He signed over his rights, but he's still their biological father. He's still in their story, and he always will be. I'm not trying to erase him. I'm trying to give them a present father, a daily father, a father who'll be there. Tyler can be their story. I want to be their present, their future, if you'll let me. The kids, we'll ask them. We'll make sure they're comfortable. Emma's old enough to have opinions. We'll respect them. We'll move at their pace. But Becca, I want this. I want you. I want them. I want us to be a family, legally, officially, permanently. That night after dinner, after the twins were in bed, they sat with Emma, 8 years old, wise beyond her years, old soul, careful heart. Emma, Jack wants to ask you something, Becca said. Jack knelt down, eye level, respectful. Emma, I want to marry your mom, and I want to adopt you and your brothers. That means I'd be your dad legally, not your bio dad. Tyler's still your bio dad, but your everyday dad, the dad who's here. Is that something you'd want? Emma was quiet, thinking, processing, the way she did, carefully, thoroughly. Would I call you Dad? If you want to, you can call me Jack too. Whatever feels right. Would we change our last name? We can, Morrison to Thornton, or you can keep Morrison, your choice. Would Grandpa Robert still be my grandpa? Always. Family doesn't end. We're just adding to it. Would Tyler still be able to write to us? If you want him to, that's your choice. You get to decide what relationship you want with him, now and when you're older. Emma thought about it, long pause, then nodded. Okay, I think I'd like that. I think I'd like having a dad who's here, who doesn't leave, who shows up. 3 months later, June, small ceremony, backyard, close friends, chosen family, Emma as flower girl, Andrew and Benjamin as ring bearers, toddlers carrying pillows with rings tied on. Chaos, laughter, perfect. Robert walked Becca down the aisle, tears in his eyes, pride, relief, joy. You deserve this. You deserve happiness. You deserve a man who sees your value. Jack at the altar, steady, present, choosing her, choosing them, every day, consistently. Simple vows, honest promises, no grand declarations, just commitment, choice, showing up. I choose you, today, tomorrow, every day. I choose to show up, to stay, to be present, to be the partner and father this family deserves. Not perfect, but present. That's my promise. I choose you too. I choose to trust again, to believe in partnership, to build something new, to let go of old fears, to embrace new possibilities. That's my promise. They married. They became a family, legally, officially, finally. The adoption paperwork came through 2 months later. August, hot summer day, courthouse, judge, official seals, legal documents. Jack officially adopted Emma, Imo, Andrew, and Benjamin. They became Thorntons. All of them. Emma Morrison became Emma Thornton. 8 years old, daughter, sister, survivor, thriver. Andrew James Morrison became Andrew James Thornton. 2 years old, fighter, miracle, proof that love wins. Benjamin. Jack Morrison became Benjamin Jack Thornton. 2 years old, bold, brave, living testament to strength. Does this mean we're a real family now? Emma asked after the ceremony. Becca pulled her close. We've always been a real family, baby. Now we just have the paperwork to prove it. That night, after the kids were in bed, after the celebration quieted, after the guests went home, Becca and Jack sat on the back porch, quiet, peaceful, together. I'm not the same person I was 3 years ago, Becca said. No, that woman needed someone to complete her, to validate her, to tell her she mattered. I don't need that anymore. I choose you, not because I need you, but because I want you. Because you add to my life and instead of defining it. That's different. That's everything. Jack kissed her. That's love. Real love. Not manipulation. Not control. Not need. Choice. Free choice between equals. That's what we have. That's what we're building. I'm scared sometimes that it's too good, that something will break it. Things might get hard. Life happens, but we'll face it together as partners, as equals, as people who choose each other every day. That's the difference. We're not bound by need or circumstance. We're bound by choice, by commitment, by showing up even when it's hard. Promise? Promise, my famo. The final scene, family photo, professional photographer, fall day, golden light, everyone smiling, Becca, Jack, Emma, Andrew, Benjamin, Robert in the background, Grace and Diane on the sides, extended family, chosen family, real family, everyone wearing matching sweaters, cheesy, perfect. The kind of photo that went on Christmas cards and living room walls and refrigerators. The photographer counted down. 3, 2, 1, smile. They smiled. Real smiles, earned smiles, survivor smiles, thriver smiles. Click. Captured, preserved. A moment, a milestone, a family. Real, chosen, survived, thrived. Emma Morrison, who became Emma Thornton, who learned that families came in unexpected shapes and that fathers were men who showed up and that mothers could be strong enough to break and rebuild and that survival was a choice you made every day. Andrew and Benjamin, who would grow up knowing they were miracles, that they were wanted, that they were chosen, that they were loved by a mother who fought for them and a father who chose them and a family that showed up. Becca, who started on a floor bleeding and ended here, standing, strong, surrounded, chosen, free, who learned that narcissistic abuse ended when you recognized it, that financial independence was freedom, that divorce settlements could be justice, that midlife transformation was possible, that women supporting women was survival, that starting over wasn't failure, that thriving was the best revenge. And Jack, who learned that sometimes showing up was enough, that consistency mattered more than grand gestures, that choosing someone every day was love, that being present was power, that family wasn't just blood, that love was action, not feeling. Tyler was released from prison after 3 years. Good behavior, model prisoner, completed programs, showed remorse, proved rehabilitation. He moved across the country, Washington State, fresh start, new job, modest life. He sent birthday cards to the kids, never asked to visit, never pushed for contact, accepted the boundaries, accepted the consequences, tried to be better from a distance. The cards said simple things. Happy birthday. I'm proud of you. I love you. I hope you are happy. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be better. Love, Tyler. Emma kept the cards in a box under her bed. Didn't read them often, but kept them. Maybe someday she'd want to know her biological father's story. Maybe not. Her choice, her timeline, her healing. Vanessa's appeal was denied. 30 years stood. She'd served them all. No early release, no parole board sympathy. Just 3 decades to think about the lives she'd destroyed, the families she'd broken, the children she'd almost killed, the women she'd victimized by targeting their husbands, the men she'd manipulated into destroying themselves. 3 decades in orange jumpsuits instead of designer suits, in shared cells instead of corner offices, controlled instead of controlling, contained instead of conquering. Richard Hartley was buried next to his wife, the woman he'd loved, the woman who'd built the empire with him, the woman who died before seeing what their daughter became. Maybe that was mercy, maybe that was tragedy, maybe both. His company thrived under Marcus Webb, the man Vanessa had targeted next, the man Jack had warned, the man who chose family over ambition, who valued integrity over power, who showed that success didn't require destruction, that climbing ladders didn't require stepping on people, that leadership was service, not domination. The Morrison house, which became the Thornton house, filled with life, laughter, arguments, homework, toys, mess, love, the normal chaos of family life, the beautiful mundane reality of children growing up safe and loved and chosen. Grace got married to a good man, a kind man, a man who showed up. They had 2 children, brought them to play with Emma and Andrew and Benjamin, built their own beautiful chaos. Diane got a dog, a golden retriever named Murphy, who became the kids' favorite playmate, who showed up to every backyard barbecue and birthday party and random Tuesday. Robert found peace, therapy, grief groups, men's circles. He learned to forgive himself for failing Tyler, learned to celebrate his success with Emma and the boys, learned that being a grandfather gave him a second chance, a redemption arc, an opportunity to be the man he'd tried to be all along. Linda Brennan took on 3 more cases like Becca's. Women poisoned by partners, women abandoned during medical emergencies, women fighting corporate predators who targeted vulnerable families. She won all 3 cases, became known as the lawyer who protected women from narcissistic abuse, who understood financial independence as survival, who knew divorce settlements could be justice. Detective Walsh was promoted, became an expert on corporate crime, on white-collar abuse, on the intersection of domestic violence and business manipulation. She spoke at conferences, trained other detectives, changed protocols, saved lives. And Becca, Rebecca Morrison, Rebecca Thornton, Becca, mom, director, survivor, thriver. She woke up every morning in a house she owned, with children she'd protected, with a partner she'd chosen, with a life she'd rebuilt, with financial independence she'd earned, with midlife transformations she'd embraced, with women supporting women all around her, with the knowledge that she'd survived narcissistic abuse and come out stronger. She woke up free, and every morning before the chaos started, before the kids woke up demanding breakfast and attention in life, she stood at her bedroom window, looked out at her backyard, her life, her miracle. She remembered the cold floor, the blood, the fear, the abandonment, the darkness. She remembered the choice to fight, to survive by, to protect, to rebuild, to thrive. She remembered that starting over wasn't failure, that divorce wasn't tragedy, that single motherhood wasn't burden, that asking for help wasn't weakness, that accepting help wasn't debt, that women supporting women was power, that financial independence was freedom, that narcissistic abuse ended when you recognized it and walked away. That justice took many forms. That revenge was thriving anyway. She remembered all of it, and she smiled. Because she'd started on a floor, bleeding, alone, abandoned, terrified, and she'd ended here, standing, strong, surrounded, chosen, free, thriving. Not despite the darkness, but because she'd chosen to walk through it instead of staying in it. Not despite the pain, but because she'd chosen to heal instead of hide. Not despite the abandonment, but because she'd chosen to build instead of break. Not despite Tyler leaving, but because Jack stayed, because Robert showed up, because Grace and Diane cared, because Linda fought, because Detective Walsh protected, because Emma adapted, because Andrew and Benjamin thrived, because she chose herself and her children and her future over fear and shame and staying small. This was her story, not Tyler's, not Vanessa's, hers. She was Rebecca Morrison, who became Rebecca Thornton. She was the woman who survived and thrived and won. Not by destroying others, but by building herself. Not by revenge, but by transcendence. Not by bitterness, but by transformation. Not by hate, but by love. By choosing love, choosing family, choosing self, choosing life, choosing future, choosing freedom. Every day, consistently, powerfully, completely. She was free, and freedom she'd learned was the best revenge of all.